Welcome, everybody, back to the Lunch Room Syndicate here at the Jack Table. Jay and Christopher here with you to talk another all-time NFL team, this time the Minnesota Vikings. Teaser coming up. This video, we are going to have a chance to talk about what makes an all-time team for Christopher and I. Are we looking at pure talent and skill, or are we looking at being a fucking decent human being? So I thought this was a no-brainer for face of the franchise here for the Minnesota Vikings. You think there's a little bit of a debate in here. Tell me why anybody holds up to Fran Tarkington.
Fran Tarkington is a great choice for face of the franchise. Sent the Vikings to multiple Super Bowls. I think he started all four of them, but I'm not entirely sure on that. But I'm going to go with another Hall of Famer, my face of the franchise for the Minnesota Vikings, the one, former Buckeye, the only, Cris Carter. 1,000 career catches was I think the third one to ever do it. Over 12,000 receiving yards, 110 touchdowns, and he did that. And that's just with the Minnesota Vikings.
I still think it's Fran Tarkington when we're talking face of the franchise and we're talking Minnesota Vikings on like who people remember. Like I'm sure kids now, if you're from Minnesota, they are brought up knowing Fran Tarkington. So that makes the quarterback position here a very easy pick. We are considering Kirk Cousins, Dante Culpepper, Randall Cunningham, Brett Favre, Tommy Kramer, Brad Johnson, and Fran Tarkington. Here for running back, we are considering Bill Brown, Ted Brown, Delvin Cook, Chuck Foreman, Adrian Peterson, Bobo Smith, and Herschel Walker. And our first one, we kind of spoiled it. Hey, skill versus being a shitty person. How shitty of a person is Adrian Peterson?
Adrian Peterson got into some pretty hot water because he believes in beating as a punishment, spanking or whatever. And he went too far, put his kid in the hospital, got some pretty serious shit for that.
Does he have a history of it other than the one? Like, is he a repeat offender? Does he show violence otherwise? I don't think I've really heard anything outside that one. And although, man, it's not fucking okay, I don't know if I'm ready to disqualify him for it. Adrian Peterson, then, he's been skill-wise the best for the Vikings. I don't think it's close. And then I think the only other purple tier for me would be Bobby Smith.
Oh, Robert Smith.
Bobo.
You said Bobby and you threw me off. I think Chuck Foreman needs to have some consideration. I think he's a purple tier as well. We need to recognize that touchdown total.
Yeah, but it looks like Chuck Foreman's giving the ball down at the fucking goal line an awful lot, too.
I mean, yeah, but his stats, he has more receiving yards than Robert Smith in less games. He has just 1,000 less rushing yards than Robert Smith in 5 less games. More receptions than Robert Smith. And double the amount of touchdowns.
Stats wins the day? Okay, who are we looking at for wide receiver?
We have Anthony Carter, Cris Carter, Stephon Diggs. Hey, I've heard that name before. Randy Moss, Ahmad Rashad, Jake Reed, Adam Thielen, and Sammy White.
The runaway leader on here is Cris Carter. We already discussed him over there for a possible face of the franchise. So he can get his happy little ass up here in selection number 1. Randy Moss is my number 2.
Randy Moss is my number 2. I know I've said it to you many times, but from a pure talent perspective, I want to make that very clear because Randy Moss was not always someone that gave 100% effort. Randy Moss is, from a pure talent perspective, the greatest wide receiver in NFL history. Now we need a third wide receiver, and we're down to two purple. Anthony Carter and Adam Thielen.
You have a direction that you're leaning towards?
I lean a bit more toward the other Carter.
I was leaning pretty heavily towards AC.
The tight end spot.
I mean, just holy fuck, this tight end spot. This is, for so many teams, this is turning into a position that just should be thrown into the alternate offense.
But speaking of this tight end position, we probably should name the names that you don't care about. Steve Jordan, Kyle Rudolph, Chauncey Shanko, and Stu Voigt. The tight end position here comes down to two guys, Steve Jordan or Kyle Rudolph. Steve Jordan had games played, had a few more catches, had quite a bit more yards, but Kyle Rudolph had more touchdowns.
Rudolph played a few seasons less and had those numbers, so that's the direction I'm leaning.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, so who are we deciding between? We get 4 selections.
The alternate O. We got Matt Burke, Percy Harvind, Steve Hutchinson, Randall McDaniel, Bryant McKinney, Cordarrelle Patterson, Marcus Sherrills, Mick Tinglehoff. That's a great name. Ron Urey, Gary Zimmerman, Dante Culpepper, Robert Smith, and Adam Thielen. Well, let's start with what name we're definitely putting on. And that might be what many people consider one of the greatest guards of all time, and Randall McDaniel.
Randall McDaniel comes in at number 1 for me. And I don't know the name Ranieri much, but what the fuck? You can't ignore the stats.
Nope. Damn near 200 games played and a shit ton. I mean, he's a purple.
Percy Harvind was just a game changer. He's somebody that I think definitely needs major consideration.
He needs major consideration. We could definitely put him at purple tier.
And then we're not going to put 2 game changers on. I want both of them on there, and I don't know if I can justify them both being on, but I want them both. Then I'm probably going off to the Tinglehoff.
Absolute ton of games played. 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time first-team All-Pro. Definitely purple tier. And that face mask is fucking weird. But now, to the position I've been waiting for.
Defensive line. Who are we looking at?
I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to give some drama here. Just like fuck defensive lineman.
It's the next one in line. It doesn't change for us.
I know. What we have here is Jared Allen, Chris Doleman, who looks just fucking evil in that picture. Carl Eller, Everson Griffin, Daniil Hunter, Jim Marshall, Doug Martin, Allan Page, and John Randall.
Yeah, that Chris Doleman picture, it looks like somebody just told like a yo mama joke to Miller there, and he was going over there crying and told him, like, I am gonna kill that motherfucker. Yeah, we get 2 selections here.
But we have 2 slots and we have 6 fucking purples. I want to go one guy from the 90s, Doleman or John Randall, and one guy from the Purple People Eater defense, Eller or Allan Page. Allan Page, 9-time Pro Bowler, 6-time All-Pro. So I'm cool with putting Doleman up and Allan Page.
Those are the 2 that I was thinking as well.
God damn it. We can't. Our debates, Jay. Our debates. We had a chance to debate here. Chris Doleman, forget about it. 96.5 sacks. I think he was a defensive tackle.
Doleman for me is the standout, like he goes in. I don't know why. I don't know why, other than that's the name that...
Because you don't want to piss that face off. It's probably time we go to that linebacker spot.
Oh...
Not as bad as it seems, but it's still not very good. We have Matt Blair, Chad Greenway, E.J. Henderson, Wally Hilgenberg, Jeff Simon, Scott Studwell, one of my favorite names. He studs well. And Roy Winston.
I think I already have my 3 that I put up top. Because I think there's only really 3 of them that are worth even mentioning.
I will say Matt Blair and Scott Studwell often got mentioned in greatest linebacker conversations for the Vikings. I don't know if those are 2 of your 3 guys, but
one of them was...
I'm going to guess Matt Blair.
Yes.
I think we would agree on Matt Blair and Chad Greenway, so I think that's our 1 and 2. I mean, Chad Greenway was a very good linebacker for a number of years with the Minnesota Vikings. It's a debate between Studwell and E.J. Henderson.
Studwell and E.J. Henderson. Studwell has the interceptions. Henderson has the sacks. Pro Bowls, and it's 1-2, so they're basically the same. Studwell was there for 76 more games.
And for me, that's the deciding factor here.
Studwell is up there.
And he has a good name, Studwell.
And defensive backs.
A surprisingly disappointing position for the Minnesota Vikings. I thought we'd have some good choices here. I think we have a couple of good ones.
We do.
Let's talk about who we are selecting from.
We have Paul Krause and Antoine Winfield in some order. Got to go 1 and 2.
Joey Browner, Bobby Bryant, Carl Kasluk, Ed Shamrock, Sharockman, Harrison Smith, Orlando Thomas, and Nate Wright.
But we agreed on 1 and 2, correct?
Paul Krause and Antoine Winfield are 1 2. And probably Paul Krause is number 1.
And in that order, as much as I like Antoine Winfield, he's number 2.
So now we're down to 3. We both
3,
said,
2 selections.
We both
and
said,
Bobby Bryant's one of them.
And we both had said Bobby Bryant was in the peer. Bobby Bryant, 51 interceptions, is 2 behind Paul Krause, who, by the way, has the all-time record for interceptions by a defensive back. Not 53, it's 81. But Bobby Bryant, 51 interceptions as a defensive back. Yes, a little bit of a different era, but he's definitely purple tier. I'm going to go with Joey Browner as a purple tier.
Okay.
6 Pro Bowls, 3 first-team All-Pros. You don't really... Even Paul Krause, who's considered one of the best all-time, doesn't have the 3 All-Pros. So for me, he's a purple tier here.
Okay, so we have Paul Krause, Antoine Winfield, Bobby Bryant, Joey Browner.
And let's move right on over to Alt D. Very, very limited compared to our Alt O. And you might have noticed, Jay, we have a punter here.
Yes, we do have a punter here. We have a punter that is purple fucking tier like a motherfucker.
But first, let's talk Alt D possible selections. Chris Cluley, our punter. John Randall, Carl Eller, and Harrison Smith.
First, let's decide, because we have at least one defensive lineman going in.
Well,
who would you take between the two?
Me personally, or John Randall? John Randall was an absolute fucking stud of a beast in the 90s. 114 sacks, 6-time Pro Bowl, 6-time first-team All-Pro.
We are talking about a Hall of Fame defensive line, purple people eater, dominant 70s versus the punter, Chris Cluley.
All right. If we were going from a pure football perspective, obvious is Carl Eller. I mean, we're not even talking here. But that's not what we're talking here. The reason why Chris Cluley is even on this list is because Chris Cluley was one of the first who were open about gay rights, was open about that kind of stuff, even to the detriment of his own team or to people his own team who hated it. He played in the mid 2000s to the 2005 to 2012. That means a lot more to me. I love that kind of thing, and as we get more and more open about it in today's world, when he was doing this, it was not very open, and it was, I'm not making a strong case, but it does mean something to me what he did, where he was so open about the LGBT community rights, and being such a soldier for them, and saying, hey, he supported gay marriage before gay marriage was allowed in the U.S. He was not afraid to speak his mind, and god damn it, I appreciate that.
He has the most important stat on there. A good fucking dude.
A good fucking dude, exactly.
And again, we mentioned it earlier, like we were, whether or not we were going to take AP onto the team and allow him or not, we have had other teams where we have disqualified people because of their off the field antics, shenanigans, whatever they were doing. We have disqualified people because of shit that was unrelated to football. We are going to honor shit that has nothing to do with football.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Cluey's on here number 1 for me.
The offensive lineup, a pretty goddamn good one, if I just say so myself. We have, at quarterback, Fran, the man Tarkington, with the running backs of Adrian Peterson and Chuck fucking Foreman, with a receiving core of Chris Carter, Randy Moss, and Anthony Carter. His tight end's Kyle Rudolph, that is what it is. But in front, he's going to have Randall McDaniel, Ron Urey, and Mick Tinglehoff. And you need a kick returner, they got Percy Harvind as well. Let's go through the defensive lineup. On the line, we have Allan Page and Chris Doleman. Fuck you, offenses. At linebacker, you'll have a little bit more success. Matt Blair, Chad Greenway, and Scott Studwell. In the backfield, you have actually pretty good defensive backfield in Paul Krause, Antoine Winfield, Bobby Bryant, and Joey Browner. And we have the good fucking dude, Chris Cluey, our number 1 player, our face of the franchise. I said it.
We should have.
I know we should have.
We should have.
And John Randall.
But thank you for joining us here at the Lunch Room Syndicate. This was our Minnesota Vikings all-time team. If you want to join in the discussion and have your opinions counted, go ahead and join us over at twitch.tv/ZunkerLRS. Fridays at midnight. We do our NHL Wednesdays at midnight. And Zunk is on here doing quite a bit of Mario Maker in between. But yeah, come join us. And until then, deuces. I love the infinite echo.
I like Robert Smith's picture because he's just like, yeah.
What's he like?
Yeah.